Good morning to you. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Another time for us to talk about what's happening and what's trending in Nigeria today. Welcome to Atlantic Blowout. Remember, the station is Atlantic Television Network. And Atlantic Blowout is a syndicated live program of the network that features chit-chats and conversations on special interest topics. We talk about news, events, and stories through correspondence reports, expert opinion, and stakeholders analysis. Today, we will be taking stories from Lagos State, where we had this story sometime last week when we talked about the parents, the school fees hike of the boarding schools in Lagos. And then now we have parents reacting to that. Parents are threatening to boycott the fees over the 200% boarding fees hike. And then we'll take a story on Borno State. You know what's happening in Borno now, the flood. So we have been following this story since its inception. We have reports that UN pledges urgent support for flood victims. And then on presidency, we're looking at the president, that's Tinubu, giving ministers 1,200 bags of rice as palliatives for distribution. And then on CNG initiative, the federal government to convert 10,000 commercial vehicles, free conversion of 10,000 commercial vehicles. We'll find out what you think about that story. And then on PMS, Sarab has sued Tinubu over failure to reverse hike. Sarab sues the president over the failure to reverse hike. And we'll also get to talk about the fuel scarcity. We have reports that marketers are demanding direct access to Dangote refinery. What is going on? The back and forth with this whole fuel subsidy, fuel scarcity, Dangote NNPCL has been something else over the past few weeks. We'll go on a short break, and after that I'll introduce my guests. We're having one of our guests straight from Lagos via Zoom, and then we're having another guest seated right in the studio with me. Please stay right here with us. We'll be back after the break. Always a pleasure knowing you're still with us. Thank you so much for standing by. This is still Atlantic Television Network right here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. And once again, the program is Atlantic Blowout. I told you I will introduce the guests that we have joining us on the show today. With me on my left is Ambassador Ekie C. Ekie. He's right here in the studio with us and he'll be analyzing the stories with us. Good morning, Ambassador.
My pleasure. Good morning.
All right, we also have joining us via Zoom right from Lagos. I already told you before that break. We'll be having Charles Ideho with us. He's a broadcast journalist and he is also a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you, Charles.
Good morning. Thank you once again for having me, anybody.
All right, always a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, the first story we're taking is coming straight from Lagos State. We have reports that parents of students in Lagos model colleges are protesting a 200% hike in boarding fees. They're accusing the Lagos State Ministry of Education of corruption and insensitivity. The fees increase from 35,000 naira to 100,000 naira per term has led to widespread frustration. The Parents Forum of Lagos Model Colleges has threatened to keep their children at home until the hike is reversed. In a letter dated 14 September entitled Increment in Fees, the forum expressed their outrage, stating, part of the letter states that in the last 24 hours we have witnessed a disdain, anguish and frustration at the mindless and provocative 200% increase in boarding fees for our children imposed by the corrupt officers of the Lagos State Ministry of Education. The letter further criticized the massive increase in the cost to feed the students, stating that principals would now spend 100 million naira per term to feed 1,000 students. And this is a tax, according to them, that was previously carried out for less than 35 million naira. Now, the forum urged parents to keep their children at home starting on Sunday, that's the 15th of September, until the decision is fully reversed. First, we have been following the story up right from when the announcement was made, and now this is the reaction from the parents, and they have made the analysis. In fact, they've broken it down for us, down to how much you would amount to if 1,000 students get to pay that money, and down to what you used to be, down to how much the school used to feed the kids with before now. But I'd like to bring Ambassador in on this one. On this one, okay, let's bring Charles Ideho on this one first off. Charles, if you're with us, would like to know what you think about this particular story.
But as for corruption, I wouldn't want to drag on that lane. But as for insensitivity, yes, I mean, it looked more like it. The government is very sensitive. Look at the country that is grappling with housing, country that is grappling with insufficiency, a country that is grappling with all kinds of impoverishment. So yeah, this is not the time at all. It's an opportune time for government to begin to even help increase in fees, not talk about implementing for, because a bill being from left, right, and middle because the shrinking national economy and all that. So I think Lagos State government can afford it to even still leave it as a high process. I mean, when you look at the FDRO that is state boast of more actually can afford it, I really know why it's not too time for them to begin to even talk about the increase in body fee. I spoke on that before. I think maybe he and I, I don't know, maybe we all grew up in the 80s and all that. When I look at like say, until we saw that in the 80s, I paid for both a whole 30 naira. I'm not talking about 300,000 or 3,000. I'm talking about 30 naira in the 80s. A government that wishes to educate citizenry will not talk about this, increase in this, increase in that. They're talking about increase in petroleum. there's a problem with, we are talking about how to move around and all that, about increase in electricity. We're not talking about increase in education. When countries actually are even taking the fees off of payment in education so that they can educate its citizenry. A nation that educates its citizenry is a nation that will grow. But when you look at all of them who are there today, someone who is the government today and he said, they all attended schools that were built by Dangote and built by Awolowo, and most of them were educated free of charge. So they enjoyed the education, and now they have written to the people of governors. They do not want people come after them to have any form of education about it, trying to put them up. Because they can afford it, almost all of them, their children are not here, so they can afford to pay foreign exchange to send their children abroad, and then also come back to Nigeria and that they are meant for everything. So it's become an elite floor of society, if you know what I mean. So for me, I think it's very, very insensitive, and I support the president that the government will have to go about reversing the trend and reverse to the old rates and old speeds, and what I call it, for the post-production. Have it, enjoy it.
All right, thank you so much, Charles, for that one, your thoughts on that. But then let's get your thought, Ambassador.
Well, I want to first of all thank the Association of the Students, the parents rather, trying to speak for their children so that they can continue with their education. I think it's a good protection for their children, coming out in unity to speak and advocate for what will help the future of their children. I would say that Lagos State government is not wrong in increasing fees because there is already inflation in prices. And I equally know that the children are not in a charity organization. They are not orphans, and that, so it's good we understand that the government did not wake up. We already know that there are high increment in every commodity right now. So for anybody to pretend that we do not know, I don't think it's correct. We are aware. But I think what anybody should be advocating right now is just like my brother in Lagos have said, I feel it's time to still subsidize the public school in Lagos State. Lagos State is one of the Lagos States breathe or take any initiative. I can tell you that every other state in this federation will key in. So because Lagos is always seen as a role model in terms of governance. Now, I would like to appeal to the executive governor of Lagos State, who has been a man of conscience, and he's an educated fellow. 100 million naira, if it's what it would take, I don't know whether it's for the entire boarding school owned by government in Lagos State or for one particular school. That's what I beg to understand. But if it is for the entire government school in Lagos State for the 3 months of one term, I don't think Lagos State government is going to struggle in taking care of that responsibility, knowing the fact that we have parents whose salary has not been increased, we have parents who are struggling with their petty businesses, and of course the challenges of the time is not making them to also make much profit.
Okay.
So I think if that 100 million naira is for the entire
let's bring Charles on again concerning that part, because I was going to bring up that question when he talked about the fact that he feels the government's been insensitive to actually have gone on with this fees increase. You stated that you don't think it is something that we should not be aware of, and you don't think the government is wrong, in your words, to have increased the fees, even though at the end you still plead that subsidy, some form of subsidy stated by Ambassador. Do you also think that the Lagos State government is being insensitive to have increased the fees?
Yes, I suppose after the question, I think in Lagos, Lagos State public schools are divided into two. You have the day school and boarding school. The boarding school are called model schools, okay, model schools, where you have students going to school, and most of them being in boarding house and make the post. There are schools that have boarding facilities, and then you have those ones with boarding facilities. Them, the model school, they used to be owned by the missionary, called the missionary. I think I two popular model schools in Lagos. So two of them are starting at very popular. But I don't know. I could do research from them before we came here. Having said, what Mother said about Bush water, the trend, I agree with you. But again, I will also have some feedback. Just during the European days, where 5 states are 13, they have policy of trade, of which I benefited from. I just entered school when in 10 they brought in. It was actually invented at that time. I became the governor of myself. I felt for all of it. Yeah, you now subject it. So, it's technically subjected to purposes. And that government is sensitive. I understand the scripture.
Right.
Look at them and they will do. They implemented few of the for 10 years. What was in the
To you that the kind of government we have most of these days are just interested. The increment is something that could be discussed upon. Why you ask the state government rather to see how they can reduce the fees and then come in. But for anybody to say no, the school authority just want to punish the parents. It's the reality.
Let's move on to Borno State now. Thank you so much for your thoughts on that one. In response to the floods in Maiduguri,
the disaster to happen so that people can face on it. Because when we have dealt all the southern states and for that time. But as it's been done over the years, go to local safety, you also find come to Lagos. Government officials allow this to happen because of the end means. All right. Now, the light was because of interest heavily important, right? And the causes were there. Which of course they wanted to hide public knowledge, which of the collapse of the dam. The question I have, they know that usually there's sometimes sometimes the year that the bottom of people will increase. Why? What stopped the Minister of Water Resources to framework that dam? What's compared to the dam in order to create a strength, to give it strength, to withstand the body of waters that will to ravage it. They didn't do that. You know that there's a level of water that will attack a facility and you might collapse it. What you should do is to actually ensure that you defend it for to get the dam. The dam water now know that, and they like so government also we're used to it, and that is certain.
so it means you were actually expecting it being reactive instead of being proactive, and this is something that a lot of Nigerians.
We watch knowing full of that. I don't really think so. But most of the times, like we know, natural disasters are not things even America can prevent. You know, these are things that is beyond human proactive response.
That's if it's a natural disaster.
Yes.
They allow dam collapse. You want to call it a natural disaster?
Well, the two informations you gave us here, you said there is a report that there was a collapse of dam, and there's another report from the federal government that it...
That if it's a dam collapse now, you think it's something that the federal government could not have, or the government in general could not have prevented?
No, if it collapsed, I think what government can do is to make effort to rebuild it.
No, especially when there have been prior notice before the collapse. You think it's something that we could not have handled? When Nigerians are calling for proactivity of government, do you think that it's out of place?
If it was a collapse of the dam, I believe government should have done something. But here is two stories. The government is saying it was not the collapse of the dam. So at this point, I do not want to do a blame game, rather than to say that government should be responsive to the
capacity at the grassroots level. Alake, in a statement released by Special Assistant on Media, Shegu Tobori, emphasized that this distribution is part of a broader effort to provide relief through established channels such as state governments and civic organizations. He highlighted the importance of supporting the elderly who may not have the ability to compete for welfare goods. Now, the minister also mentions that future palliatives would be directed towards other vulnerable groups, including widows, orphans, persons with disabilities. Charles, I'd like to get your stance on palliative distribution.
Yes, because I don't know where leave their home. I mean, and there's a Chinese proverb that says that instead of giving, you teach them how to feed. At the same time, what you do, you have the same government, that the government, they now have what they call city. This is an for community development association. You have them, which of course the estate city 1-3 county. So we will reach out to ensure that the target are targeted so that we can get them. A country that has no reliable data they can use, where people come from to domicile and to also all people say has a web method and the validate. It goes to the Lagos State that council begin to monitor and they come and place in the service. But for now, I have no hope that the to be
all right.
The elderly, where we have intentional elders, kept in those places, being taken care of, maybe by missionaries or one organizations or the other. So I think in that distribution,
we have to always use to every time, like long-term plan. Immediately now, who now in act. We are now long-term plans put in place for people who at their old age, they will have to resort to rely on. If you think about people, the people will mature what they start. If the issue how the says, we start thinking you would have put cap in hand to go or go come and put do like a cop. That's what I'm saying. That we don't have to resort to palliative every time. As I said, we so take money who paid for who pays for the palliative. That's why most say they palliative.
Your time with us on the show. Thank you once again. Hope to have you some other time.
Yes, okay.
All right, big thanks for staying with us. Let's go on a short break, and after that, the show continues with other stories. Please stay with us on ATN. right, the conversation continues. Thank you so much for staying right here with us. Let's move on to our next story. No fewer than 10,000 commercial vehicles are set to benefit from the federal government's compressed natural gas conversion initiative. This was revealed during a vehicle compatibility inspection exercise at the conversion center in Ajah, Lagos on Saturday. The exercise, part of the presidential compressed natural gas initiative, aims to provide free conversion of commercial vehicles across the country. Now, that's Olayin Rufai, the PC NGI Strategic Project Advisor. He has noted first within a week and 1 million vehicles by 2027. All right, how many are okay with 20 centers currently operating nationwide? Rufai untimely easing financial burdens on citizens. He encouraged the conversion process according to technical head ability, while also offering environmental benefits as CNG has nearly zero emissions. The initiative is expected to cut transportation costs by 40%. Okay, Ambassador,
It's
what are your
laudable.
thoughts?
I only want to ask, where is Rivers State own location? Because it said 20
Nationwide.
20 nationwide, and I wonder why I've not known where Rivers own is, because I would have loved to also key in because of the price of fuel right now. So I think the governor of Rivers State should quickly liaise and see how Rivers people will equally enjoy this great opportunity. I've always advocated that there should be alternative to fuel. If there is alternative to fuel, the price of fuel will naturally not be a burden on Nigerians. Because if I'm not using a fuel car, I don't think the price of fuel will bother me. So I think my governor for Rivers State and every other governors across should try and assess this golden opportunity. Thank God they are also leveraging it on private individuals. If they can create this of these converted cars with gas usage, at least 200 in a state, commercial vehicles, I think the impact will be seen and the price of transportation will go down immediately. So I think I do not know how they got it, or if those vehicles are to combat. I think the federal government in their FEC meeting would have said, this is the opportunity we have. Can every state, provide 200 of these vehicles for conversion? I think it would have been laudable. At this case, now maybe like next month, we are seeing 200, gas driven vehicles in Port Harcourt. They will not shut down the price of transportation. So I think the way it was done, for me, is not very fair. And I think Mr. President should review the decision, and the governors, my own governor for Rivers State, should make sure this thing becomes quick in Rivers State. If every one of our leaders really wants the suffering and the price of transportation should go down.
Ambassador, for your thoughts on that, let's go to SARAP and the federal government and then NNPCL. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SARAP, has filed a lawsuit against President Bola Tinubu for not directing the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to reverse the recent petrol price hike. SARAP also seeks an investigation into allegations of corruption and mismanagement within the NNPCL. Filed at the Federal High Court, Abuja, the suit calls for a reversal of the petrol price from 845 naira to 600 naira per litre and demands a probe into the NNPCL's handling of $300 million bailout fund and a $6 billion. SARAP argues that the price increase is unconstitutional and exacerbates poverty. The group also stresses that addressing corruption in the oil sector would serve public interest and align with Nigeria's legal obligations. No date has been set for the hearing, but this is the situation at hand. Remember last week we gave you a report about SARAP threatening to sue the to sue President Bola Tinubu if he does nothing about this particular situation, the perceived corruption from the NNPCL. And now they've gone ahead to make that possible. All right, Ambassador, let's get your thoughts on this move by Sarah.
For the purpose of media chat and interaction, hence once a matter is in court, we lack the strength to discuss it over. But I like to say, maybe for Sarah to say the increment on PMS is unconstitutional. I do not understand the section of the Constitution, but of course they must have also gotten one avenues from the Constitution, because I know that the price will be fair and will come down.
All right.
Soon.
Talking about God helping us with the price of PMS, let's move on to the next story. This is on Dangote, PMS, NNPCL, and marketers. With the agreements now, the final selling price to marketers remains unknown, but NNPC will transport the fuel via trucks and ships. So this is extra cost that they are telling you. Marketers buy petrol at 766 naira. Prices could drop to 790 in Lagos and 820 in northern regions. While marketers appreciate the lower price, they criticize Dangote for not engaging with them directly. Okay, now marketers are against this.
The federal government owns the crude, and why they are giving to Dangote is for them to be able to also benefit from it.
Are they giving to Dangote for free?
No. You see, they have told you the transaction mode. Instead of selling the crude to Dangote in dollars, we are giving to him in naira.
Okay.
The hand, so that we can also benefit from the PM. So the independent marketers are not the one that have negotiated about this product. If this product was gotten by Dangote outside Nigeria, or with the normal price that Dangote ought to have bought this product, then I think the issue of monopoly coming in would have been, out of place.
Or does it really matter who
matters,
he got it from,
yes,
or where he bought it?
It matters as far as business is concerned. It's like a reduced price.
That's another agreement. It's like having a manufacturing company in Nigeria, and then you say because they got the raw materials from a particular company in Nigeria, or because they got the raw materials from Nigeria, they shouldn't sell to other people who would want to resell the product.
In every business and contract.
That is one business that's different from this business.
No.
Okay.
Once you have a contract in a business, it's a distributor of a particular product in Rivers State. No matter how you try for you to sell that product in Rivers State, to bring in that product, is against the rule. So the company will direct you to me to come and buy from me. In as much as you are in Rivers State, say Rivers State, we have already a distributor there. Here is the contact and the address. That's how business decisions are made in contract. So I want to believe that NNPCL and Dangote have got an agreement to say we will give you this crude oil on Nigerian discounted price, so that when you refine this product, remember I said this last time, that this is one way that we can get this price reduced. Because if you give Dangote the price of crude based on international price, you don't expect Dangote to sell the PMS after refining with a lower price. And now the federal government have gone ahead.
They're not even allowed to buy from Dangote.
Yes,
and that's what they are against.
Right now, they should not be allowed, because their price has never in any way helped Nigerians. If you go to NNPC filling station, you buy on a more reduced price. And when you go to the independent marketers, their prices are more higher.
Do you not know why that is happening?
I know. So that's why I'm saying that.
Because you don't expect them to sell at the rates they are buying from the NNPC.
That's what I'm saying. That if the NNPC is going to sell them, the way the NNPC has been giving them discounted price. NNPC said last time they used to import, they buy 1,000 something, right? And yet they are selling 500 and something.
As at that time.
As of that time. And then independent marketers are buying from them and selling, adding their small profit. So if now they go and buy from Dangote, are they assuring us that they are going to sell us that PMS with the price that NNPC will sell? If yes, then I will say, Mr. President, the federal government allow independent marketers to buy directly from Aliko Dangote refinery. But if they are going to price and tell us that we bought with so amount of money, we're entitled to sell this price, I think what they are trying to advocate is that allow us to buy directly so that we can control our price.
But don't you think that's going to crash the price if we have different marketers?
No. It's not going to, because they cannot buy with the same price. Even if they buy with the same price NNPC is buying, these our independent marketers will not sell the way NNPCL is selling.
Okay.
If they tell us Nigerians now that we want to buy the same price NNPCL is buying, and we assure you that we will sell the same price NNPCL